Hey guys, it's Sam. Welcome back to another video. So last time I did a Beyonders: A World Without Hero review. This time I'm going to be doing Beyonders: Seeds of Rebellion review. So this is the second book in the Beyonders series. I really like this book, like a lot. It's a great book. So we're gonna do the same thing that we did last time. I will tell you, I am gonna have a Skyriders video out coming out soon, probably in like 2 weeks at least. When I do get to the Five Kingdoms books, they have so many chapters and all of them are pretty short. I'm just going to go by acts, like the first act, second act, third act, with the Five Kingdoms books. But when I get to when I do other books by Brandon Mull, I don't know how Candy Shop or Dragon Watch go. I've never read any of those. I just will be going by chapters because these chapters are pretty long. So, Seeds of Rebellion. So, I might also forget some things because I've not read this in a while, but I do have a pretty fresh memory on this. So, I never read the prologues because I don't really want to. So, Chapter 1 is the return. So, with Chapter 1 of Seeds of Rebellion, what happened in this chapter, basically, Jason wants to go back to Lyrian. So he's just trying to figure out how he can go back to Lyrian, and in the end he does find out how to go back to Lyrian, and he does go back to Lyrian at the end of the chapter. And also he meets up with Tark, and Tark tells him about this guy named Aram. So Chapter 2, Giants. So Jason he is on his quest to go find the giant Aram. He finally does find him, and he finds out that he is actually a half giant. So, not like Harry Potter, but instead of Harry Potter, the giant, when you're a half giant, you are a giant during the day, but you are tiny at night. So, Aram, in the end, does decide to go with Jason. Or is that when just Tark was explaining? I don't remember. That's either when Jason meets Aram, or that's when Tark is just explaining what giants do. I don't remember. I'll figure it out later. But I think that's just when Tark's explaining what giants do. So Chapter 3, A Shadowy Companion. So this is when Jason meets a shadow person, and he keeps following Jason around. And he ended up having a nightmare one time about Rachel. He kept having nightmares, and he found out that shadowy thing is called a lurker, and he even killed someone in front of Jason. Chapter 4, Charmed Woman. So this goes away from the Jason storyline in this chapter, and it goes to Rachel. So Rachel and Drake have been traveling around to find the Charmed Woman because they found out that Rachel can learn Adamic. So Drake goes, Rachel stays with the Charmed Woman, and she starts to learn Adamic, which is kind of like superpowers. So Rachel gets a much bigger role in this book than the first one. Chapter 5, Lurker. So, okay, Jason finds out it's a lurker in this chapter. That's basically all it is. He just finds out the shadowy thing that has been following him is called a lurker. Chapter 6, Aram. So, I'm dumb. So, in the second chapter, that giants, that is just when Tark is explaining what giants are. So, Jason finally finds Aram, which is the giant he's been looking for. And he is trying to convince him to continue on Jason's quest. Aram is a half giant, not like in Harry Potter when they're just like half as big as they're supposed to. He is a giant in the day, but he is small at night. And Jason convinces Aram to go on the quest. Chapter 7, Mora. So this is when Aram is guiding Jason through some stuff as they're trying to find Galaran again. They're also trying to find Rachel and Farron and Drake. Well, not Farron, but, you know, that's what they're basically trying to do. Chapter 8, Invasion. So, we go back to Rachel's story a little bit. Rachel and the Charm Woman, she gives the Charm Woman a name, which her name is Elaine now. She learns Adamic all the way. Rachel decides to go try to find Jason, as she does find that. And then, but going back to Jason and Ram's story, there's an invasion, and they get invaded, and then Jason and Ram had to run away, and their quest kind of starts all over again. So it kind of sucks for them. Chapter 9, Smuggled. So something just, I kind of forget. So Farron from the first book comes back. Remember, Farron was kind of like the traitor person. He comes back from the first book, and Jason and Ram gain back Farron's trust, so he decides to put Farron on their journey too. Chapter 10, Flight. So Flight, they're riding horses, and then I think this is the chapter when they finally run into Galaran, and they're all really happy and stuff. Chapter 11, 14. What happened in this chapter? I forget. There's going to be some chapters where I just forget everything that happens. I don't remember what this happened. You'll have to read this book and see. Chapter 12, Rendezvous. Okay, so this is actually the chapter when Rachel, where Elaine kind of like abandons her a little bit, and then Rachel just goes on her own. I think this is the chapter, not the chapter that I was discussing about earlier. Chapter 13, Hunted. So Drake and Rachel finally find Jason, Farron, and Aram. So they're not with Galaran, but okay, whatever. I'm sorry, my brain went. So they all find each other, and they all met up, and they're just discovering what the quest is. And now they're on a quest to go find the prophetess to give them some answers. And of course they get hunted. Grillians. So Dorcio, if you remember Dorcio from the last book, he gets a lot of improvement. You know, but Dorcio comes back with Galaran, and he dies in this chapter. I think this chapter when he dies. Chapter 15, The Drowned City. So after Dorcio's death, they all go underwater, and they found the Drowned City. And yeah, I forget what else happened in this chapter, but that's the main thing that I remembered out of that chapter. Chapter 16, Globes and Mushrooms. So it's about globes and mushrooms. Duh. So I think Tart comes back, and he finds some globes and mushrooms that are like poisonous or whatever. I think that's what this chapter is about. Chapter 17, Westgate. So what happened? So I think they find the Westgate. Duh. I'm just going to continue on. You know, when you're, like, filming and you're supposed to be going off the script, there's going to be some bloopers, and that's what just happened then. Chapter 18, The Seven Veils. So, after they found the Westgate, they discovered about the Seven Veils, and I think that's what they're mainly. I think this is the chapter when they also meet Corinne, who is Galaran's daughter. And Jason's also, like, crushing over her a little bit. Chapter 19, The Conclave. So, I forgot. This is another one of those chapters where I forgot. You're going to have to read and see what happens in this chapter. Chapter 20, The Delegation. So, I believe this is when they're like halfway through their quest, and I think this was the chapter when also Farfalle comes, where Farfalle and Jasher come, and Jasher from the last book. I think Jasher was in a little bit of the last book. He comes with Farfalle, and Farfalle is Jasher's wife, and she's also Drake's sister. So it's pretty interesting. And of course, there was a delegation. Duh. Chapter 21. Howling Notch. So, there's a Howling Notch. Okay, I'm just gonna stop. I'm just gonna skip to the next chapter because I forgot what happened in that chapter, and I just thought I should say it. Chapter 22, The Forsaken Kingdom. So, this was I think this was the chapter when they meet the Drenalines. The Drenalines are like small people who have like names and stuff. I think they meet Nia and Io and this old guy. Nia is like a teenage girl. Io is a teenage boy. And I forget the old guy's name, but he's pretty interesting. Chapter 23, The Sentinels. So they find the Sentinels, and the Sentinels are battling them and stuff, and Galarian defeats some of them. Chapter 24, The Wild Clan. So there's a Wild Clan, obviously, and some stuff happens. They meet Nolan, another character. I think, that's the guy. That's the old guy. His name's Nolan. Chapter 25, The Last Inn. So they find the Last Inn. And they just start doing some stuff with the Last Inn. I think this is when the old guy, Nolan, betrays them too. So it's not cool. Chapter 26, Foreign Eyes. So they find Foreign Eyes, obviously. And they just start doing some stuff. I think, somebody challenges Jason into a duel, and Jason wins, which is pretty freaking awesome. Chapter 27, The Oracle. So they finally found the Oracle, which is the prophetess. The prophetess says that, she scoured every possibility in the universe, and she came to them too, and yeah. To Jason and Rachel, and she found them too, and then that is how Jason and Rachel basically got to Lyrian in the first place. Chapter 28, The Prophecy. So when the prophetess did scour those, she found the prophecy and what Jason and Rachel could do, and she found out what they could do. So that kind of leads into the third book, Chasing the Prophecy. And then that is the end of Seeds of Rebellion. And Seeds of Rebellion, let me tell you, it's a great book. A lot of people keep saying, it is the worst of the Beyonders series. I don't think it's that. I think the first one's the worst. I think the Beyonders trilogy gets better and better as time goes on. I think the third one is obviously the top tier. I'll discuss more about the third one when I do a review of the third one, but the second one is really good. I really recommend this. It has a lot of plot twists. I love it when Rachel learns Atomic. That is probably one of my favorite scenes in the Beyonders trilogy, and I really recommend reading this. I think this is a 9 out of 10. It's very good, and I can't wait to do my Brandon Mole ranking when I read all of the Brandon Mole books. I'm so excited, but it's gonna be very fun. I'm gonna like doing this entire series. Peace out, everybody. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and goodbye.